My name is Shruti Dimri. I am a principal at Anagram Architects. Firm was started by Madhav Raman and Vaibhav Dimri in the year 2001. I joined them about 10 years back. Before that, I have worked with various other firms in Delhi and outside. And in the last 20 years of Anagram being in practice, we have garnered ourselves a reputation of doing very different out-of-the-box kind of designs. Our approach to design has been forever to be innovative, of course, but also to do something that we've ourselves not done before. So when we get down to doing a design along with a client, it's a collaborative process. The idea is to find something new, something more relevant to what their needs are, and through the course also find what more can we get out of this one project, the basic requirement of which is to build a home or a hospital or a hotel. To find that extra something that one can accomplish in terms of design through this project, that really drives our practice. There are broadly 3 design principles that guide our approach to any project. The first one being innovation. So we want to find something that comes from this desire to innovate, whether it's in terms of how we use material in a new way, or whether we put a spin onto the design problem, the design brief itself. But really, innovation is the first guiding principle for us. The second one is sustainability. It's not surprising, it is the need of the hour, it is what we require actually as we go along our journey to find how we can be more sustainable. There are newer methods, learn from other people. At our own level, we try to experiment with new things and to really understand what sustainability means, not just at the construction level but also at the social level. So that's the second guiding principle for our firm. And the third, I think it's also something that we cannot really escape, which is the people that we work with, the people that we work for, the people that we work around. So that includes the clients, of course, people that we are collaborating with, the artists, the craftsmen, the actual people who are putting things together. Construction is, after all, brick by brick method of pulling something up. So basically, to be sensitive to what the people around us can contribute to the project, I always say that we put people above projects. Today I'm going to present one of our recent residential projects. This is a house in a residential colony in Gurgaon. The site area is 10,000 square feet. The built-up area on the project is about 7,500 square feet, all inclusive. The clients actually found us online. They did not know us from before. They looked at our work and then they approached us. And at the first meeting, they said they wanted 3 most important things over and above, of course, a long list of things. The clients actually are 2 kids, age 4 and 8, their parents and their grandfather. So the 5 of them live in a house and 2 didis that live in the same house. They said they wanted to have a slide in the house. That was their first requirement. The second was they wanted to have a football field inside the house. And the third was the sloping roof. They said, for us, we've always drawn a house with sloping roof. That is what means a home to us. So they had a typical rectangular plot, and the way to do a football field on something like that, the first option that comes to mind is to either build right at the back or build a little up front so that you leave a pocket of the land for football practice. So we tried a few options, but we were never satisfied with the rectangular smaller sections that we were getting front or at the back, because whatever you do, you would not get the entire length of the plot. Some part of the plot will still go to the built up space. So eventually what we decided to do was cut the plot diagonally and place the constructed building in one half of that triangular building. And the remaining triangle then became the practice field. What it means is that at the back you get the entire width of the plot to move and almost the longer length of the plot also to run up to practice football. We've never tried a layout like this for a residence. It was challenging because now we were fitting functions within the triangle, and I've been asked this question many times by other people whether it was difficult to fit all these different little functions. But when we look at the plan, you realize that apart from one little courtyard that you get in the center for light to come through from the center of the building, you have all rectangular spaces, or there are pentagonal spaces which also work much better than tight rectangles. So we also started then with a sloping roof on top, but not only from the front, also slope the entire roof elevation as the elevation goes at the back. So this highest part is in the front, and then the roof gradually slopes down to go to a 1.5 floor height at the back. So in front you get the master bedroom and the kids' bedrooms above the very small living room that we finally managed to have. And at the back, utility spaces, kitchen areas, and the rooms for the didis. And in the center, in fact, 1/2 of the entire area, 1.5 floor height, becomes this family space. Because they said that even though we don't have a lot of guests over, we want this common space for the grandfather, the couple, and their 2 kids to spend all of their time in. There is only one TV. They also said we do not want to have a lot of views. What that meant was that they don't want balconies, they don't want large windows that open onto the street. Because of that was that we gave them glazed openings to get light inside. So if we gave them windows so that there was enough light coming inside the rooms, but these were not opening right out of the front elevation. They were all opening at an angle. So no one can look inside and they don't feel conscious while sitting next to the window. On the ground floor, however, we kept the entire elevation glazed like that because they have this long green lawn in front of the family space and they really wanted to have that connection with their open space. So that was the second thing. The third thing, that the slide to be an internal intrinsic part of the house, and they were very clear in mentioning that the slide will be used by everyone in the family. So it had to be a sturdy enough slide which starts from the first floor, then comes all the way down. It was cast in exposed concrete. We love the contractor we work with on this project, and we were very happy and satisfied with how the finishes came out in the house, especially that of a slide which is like this curving portion that comes down. So that's how we gave them this as an important feature in the open space inside. So these were the 3 main items on the wish list. Apart from that, of course, there were many other things, one of which, again, not something that I come across every day, is a client asking to not put any electrical switches next to their bedsides. They said, we do not want gadgets to be extensively accessible in the house. We have one TV which will be in one corner, and we want our kids to enjoy the house in as much playful, physical manner as possible and not fall into that situation where it's easy to get hold of a gadget and look at a screen. So when a client like that comes along, it really forces you to think of various different ways of how a house can function. They said they have a lot of art, and kids, they want to encourage looking at art, living with art, creating art all the time. They were very particular about having a maker's studio inside the house between the 2 kids' bedrooms. They wanted the kids to be in the same space but also not in the same room. It's actually a single room with the sloping roof on top, and then there is a cabinet design in the center of the room which basically divides the 2 spaces. The door, which can be used to cordon off one room from the other room, is hardly ever shut. So they may not feel part of the same space, but they're still in the earshot of each other. Basically, they said that the kids needed to feel like they were in the same space, even if as they grow up, maybe they don't want to look at each other's faces. So anytime around this floor, the parents gave themselves a much more secluded corner on the floor, and the rest of it was really taken up by the kids with their reading books in the corridors outside, which was quite interesting to do in this area. So because we did not have a full-fledged living room here, we did have a small room where they could greet anyone or a guest. So that little room basically is put in one corner of the ground floor, the front edge of the building. More than 50% of the ground floor plate is taken up by the family rooms. Includes the staircase going up, the dining room, their sitting area, the kitchen at the back, and the grandfather's room in front. Their sun room or their yoga room, which sticks out and also has a glazed edge, so it looks on to the garden on this side. So their ground floor is basically where they spend the entire day, inside, outside, depending on how the weather is. On the first floor, which is a slightly smaller floor plate, they have the 2 kids' bedrooms, There is the master bedroom and the ensuite bathrooms, etc. And at the back over here are the rooms for the DDs. The other interesting thing that we did in terms of layout over here was that the toilet does not open through the dresser, because they wanted the dresser to be even more private and not to have any help going through it. There is this triangular cutout which has a fabric roof on top. So you get these interesting shadows forming on the wall from inside. You can see these skylights that we have created because the bedrooms below this floor do not really have large windows opening onto the street. So a lot of the light comes from the skylight from here. Now these skylights needed to be shaded as well. So we had to use automatic motorized blinds that on the flick of a button, they shut themselves off from here. We have solar panels over here. Since we're talking about the project is to have shaded areas, to have enough ventilation, to have less dependence on energy as much as possible. There is this little staircase that helps access the roof on top to clean it. I spent a day again with the client the other day when we were trying to get the building photographed, and I could see that they were really enjoying the house. So all in all, I could see a very satisfied client.